So, welcome back. I am in today's masterclass, and we're talking about the case studies within marketing bloopers and influence and cultural limited beliefs. So, um, you know, we're gonna just go into it. So, basically, the four factors that impact cultural relationships is culture, social, personal, and psychological issues. So when we look at that, that is where PR lives. PR agencies live there. And the problem is the increased awareness of social justice issues. So we're looking at the problem of increased awareness of social justice issues. So this includes the global rise in awareness and activism around issues like racism, sexism, LGBTQ rights, and environmental justice. And it has empowered communities to hold individuals and institutions accountable for their actions. So I am going to be doing some call outs, so trigger warnings if you work for these companies and you don't agree. I'm not trying to argue, but you can definitely DM me and let me know what you think, or, comment privately and let me know what you think. So I know when it came to LGBTQ recently, Target offended, and it was another thing that kind of caused a trigger. They weren't aware of the issues. Another thing, I believe it was more so possibly racism or maybe environmental justice, something like that. But Pepsi offended. And the impact was cancel culture. It just attacked. And it often emerges from these movements as they seek to address perceived injustices and they demand change. So when we're looking at a SWOT analysis, the threat is economic downturns. So what's going on is basically you're creating economic instability. Like, these people ain't making purchases, so the demand is down. You don't have to make that much of a supply of the things. So you are losing money and revenue essentially when you go through this cancel culture. So it's an economic downturn when you take these hits of lacking increased awareness of social justice issues. But can we be perfect? Absolutely not. So it could lead to reduced consumer spending. They're not spending over there no more. And particularly in the transactional segment. So people, if it's their first time clicking, they're not clicking because you got bad tabloids. So your first time purchases are not, you're probably going to be more functioning in the strategic partnership. So you want to build with the people that is sticking with you and committed to you. They can function around a little insanity, and these are the people that's still messing with you. You want to mess with your strategic partnerships, but you don't want to offend your transactional relationships, which are the first time clickers and stuff like that. So where the price sensitivity is high, you don't want the price too high right now because you've not liked. And the first time clickers, they not going. I'm not telling you to lower your prices. I'm just saying you don't want them high right now. You want to hide them high prices. So when we look at it, what do you believe? So if I'm Coach M, what do you believe we should look at? So when it comes to a threat, what do you think we should look at? So here are the options. We're looking at expectations. Oopsies. We're looking at expectations of what you can learn in the class. So what are we looking at? Like, you posed a threat of economic downturns. What are we looking at? What can your business do? So I'm going to give you guys like maybe a minute to figure out an answer. If you're on the chat or if you're on YouTube, I'm giving you guys a minute. So this will be what you can do at the end of the masterclass expectations. This was the first masterclass of what you're supposed to have mastery in after these masterclasses, and there are 7 different masterclass expectations. You have about 30 seconds to, using these slides, understand. So there's 1 through 7, and you have the options. So, as guided in the first masterclass, at the end of this masterclass, or these masterclasses, the expectations is your business can define complex strategies. You can now identify limiting beliefs. You can now learn from communication failures. You've mastered and managed emotional responses. You've implemented tailored techniques, and you've challenged negative beliefs, and you've enhanced self-image. So we're looking at basically you've offended social views. So this is the LGBTQ, this is racism, this is sexism, and environmental issues is in there too. So you've offended the community. So at the end of the masterclass, the expectation is for you to have these 7 different things mastered. And I believe when it comes to Coach M, what would Coach M do in this situation if the threat is economic downturn? Well, you are to master and manage your emotional responses. You ain't tripping on people. You ain't being like, yo, no, like, you just don't understand where I'm at. I does what I does. Or, I'm using urban. Or, you're insensitive and you're clapping back on people. You don't do that. What you would do is you will master and manage your emotional responses. So you are expected by the end of this masterclass to know when those things occur. You will now develop strategies to manage your emotional responses effectively after business setbacks and fostering resilience. You're going to step into resilience. There's also another one that you can take on. There's 2 options. This is an optional one. You will challenge those negative beliefs. So you will utilize positive affirmations to challenge and reframe any negative beliefs within your business strategies. So if you triggered people, best believe there was a negative belief there, and it is for you to create affirmations around them. So basically, the solution that we will pose is engage in continuous social listening. So if you are engaging in continuous social listening and you're working on managing your emotions, you will be living in empathy. You'll be living in respect as virtues and values. And if you are speaking around negative beliefs, you'll be living in the possibility of change and transformation and growth. So the action will be to monitor your social media, your news outlets, and public segments to stay ahead of potential issues. So now, if the possibility and you're affirming to yourself that I care and you're affirming to yourself that I'm capable and I'm wise, well, you'll be using tools like sentiment analysis that can help identify brewing controversies. So the impact will be staying aware of public discourse, and companies can address concerns early before they escalate. So early engagement can sometimes prevent a full-blown crisis by showing that the company is listening and responsive. So the strategy will be you have strength in tailored sales. So the business excels in customizing sales strategies for different types of buyer-seller relationships, and it will enhance your customer satisfaction and loyalty. So that will be the solution. So how do we feel about that? It was a little heavy. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of click out of this, and we are at about 65 minutes. So I want to be aware of that. So we're going to kind of click out of this, and I kind of did a little access research. And in this access research, did I put it here? Uh-oh, I did not. Maybe it's not meant to. Okay. No, I didn't. Yep, I don't have it. But in the access research, we were going to look at companies that actually essentially failed at this. So when we look at those companies, it was about 10 that we can look at. Maybe it is not the best to just put them on Front Street. But as mentioned before, it was like number 4 was Pepsi, Peloton was on there. Nike, I don't know what Nike did, but Nike was on there. And Nike was on there as well. So give me a second, it didn't log me out. That's probably why. Okay, give me a second, it didn't log me out because I clicked out of the page. Gosh. I'm almost done. Okay. So I'm just gonna stick to the script. I wanted to go a little off and research, like, I wanted to get like TMZ with it, but not today. I guess I have to keep it corporate and very, just where it's not triggering. So I did not put them. So I wanted to get a little cray cray. I didn't. Boo. So yeah, we will just be looking at that. So when we look at, we're going to move on because it kind of broke my little heart. So we'll be moving on. So the problem is corporate responsibility and ethical expectations. So what that means is the consumer now expects companies to adhere to higher ethical standards. So both in their business practices and in the behavior of their leaders and employees, they basically didn't adhere to ethical standards. So the impact is that the company faced cancellation threats, and if they failed to align with social values or if they are involved in scandals, it's leading to boycotts and reputational damage. So you have to understand, you created a boycott right now in your business. Yikes. Okay? So say you think you're little mom and pop, now you didn't create a boycott. You're not just little mom and pop. So the threat, if we were to look at a SWOT analysis as your consultant, it's an intense competition now. So basically the market may be saturated with competitors actually offering corporate responsibility, whereas you're not. So it's making it difficult for you to stand out. You just lack credibility. They're like, you know what? You abused us too much. We didn't boycott it like 3 times, burnt up all the little things. I'm not purchasing that. So you're a threat. But it's a threat to you, is that the intense competition. You can't get out of that hole. So what will we do when you're working with Coach M? We will identify the limiting beliefs around that. And it's a journey. So you're going to be addressing limiting beliefs, and these are negative subconscious thoughts that can hinder your ability to adapt to the evolving trends. See? It's about trends and seize new opportunities. So you have to affirm around that. There's a identifying limiting belief. Maybe I'm not good enough. My business isn't good enough. It's there. And by recognizing these beliefs, we can help you begin to reframe them and paving the way for more adaptability and resilient mindset. You need a resilient mindset in this. 3 different boycotts, you just need resiliency, because you have to know that your company is important and it does help the economy. So your solution would be to foster a culture of inclusion and diversity. So maybe this is so much adversity, and it's so much strong adversity that now you're known as coaching people in inclusion and diversity. And the actions you take are promoting just different programs that insinuate diversity, equity, and inclusion. You were looking at equality, now you're in equity, which is like what, people need essentially, not balance, So within the company and its external communications, the impact is a strong DEI culture, EI culture. And it can reduce the risk of cancel culture incidents related to discrimination and sensitivity. More so, it can make the company more resilient. So you faced this, and in the next 5 years, you're the most resilient company with the strongest DEI culture. So some of your favorite companies can probably be wanting to do mergers with you, and I said mergers, mergers with you, and they probably look to you to be the influence to help them in cancel culture, to help them with cultural beliefs and insensitivities that they have. And you would never think, because it was looking so bad over here. So more so, it can make the company more resilient. And as a diverse team, it's better equipped to navigate complex social issues, and you can influence the economy itself with its complex social issues, and you can be the face of complex social issues navigation. How does that sound? I think that's awesome. Like, you were hated, like you had all these haters, and it was valid haters, and now you're like navigating complex social issues and you're helping other people navigate it. It's like, you know, what is it like? Is if you were to like have a boat and it's called like SS Poseidon, and you're just navigating, that's you. So the weakness, excuse me,